Results from the UK's second largest software company just broke, sales rising 18%. Total revenue for the year set a record at $870 million. Quarterly profit of $70 million, top last year as well. And joining me now, I'm pleased to say, is the CEO of Autonomy, Michael Lynch, in the studio with me now. Thanks very much for coming in, Michael. So I want to ask you about your expectations for the level of demand that you guys are likely to see this year.
We're seeing some really interesting things go on. One of the things is how customers are buying. So we're very pleased at the second half of the year that they've been buying what's called cloud computing, where rather than us getting a one-off sale, what we get is an annuity stream. And we've seen a very sharp rise in that effect. So what we have now is a lot of business already built in for the coming year as this transition's happening. So
it's not going to give you much of a boost this year?
No, you see the benefit in the year, but what you see here is the signings of those deals happening in the end of last year. Has relatively little effect on our actual reported numbers, but those signings, that revenue comes in monthly throughout the year.
And that's interesting, because in October you lowered your full-year forecast sales growth because of unpredictability amongst your corporate and government customers. You don't expect to see that sort of unpredictable behaviour this year?
No, well, we were wondering at the time whether it was to do with Q3, which because people come back from summer and they were sort of working out their macro view. That effect seems to have subsided, and we seem to be back into a view where the customers have actually taken their view one way or the other about what the macro situation is. And so now what we're seeing is them doing these long-term investments in going forward.
So how far advanced are the acquisition talks?
Well, we did a lot of work on an acquisition during the year. When we started looking at things, we found some things that weren't as we wanted them. And so, that didn't proceed within the year. So obviously it's one of those areas where we have to get on with it, and it's hard to say something. But, the important thing for me is that we're not out to do any acquisition. We've got to do the right acquisition on the right terms, and we had something very specific.
But the talks are ongoing, or they've been called off completely?
It's difficult for me to say anything.
Okay. They're mainly US-based companies, are they?
Well, again, we can have that conversation all the time, but most of the software universe is in the US, so on the dartboard.
So it's likely to be. It's likely to be.
Well, I would say a lot of the speculation of who the names are. I haven't seen the name in any of the.
Will you need to raise additional financing?
We wouldn't expect that to be the case if that were to happen.
Where do additional opportunities lie for Autonomy?
Well, really, it's still the same basic driver for the business. All of this human-friendly information, so all the email, all the voicemail, all the phone calls, all the video, and that exploding. And the need for that to be processed by us is just getting more and more. You're seeing that in legal and regulatory, you're seeing that in customer interactions. And one of the nice things is our software inside other people's software. That's growing 32% year on year at the moment. So more and more people building the technology into their products.
Very briefly, Michael, you said that you don't expect volatility from your customers this year, but nevertheless, many economists saying it's going to be a tough year. Spending cuts combined with tax increases. Are you worried about that?
No, because especially things like our regulatory business tends to be decoupled from the macro.
Great. Michael Lynch, Chief Executive Officer of Autonomy. Great to talk to you.